Hi there. In this video tutorial, I'll show you how we can perform different test operations on values stored in variables. Let's begin with some simple examples. Let's set a variable. For example, we have this variable num and it has value 10. Let's just print it out using the echo command as we have seen before in my other tutorials. So it gives us or returns the value of the variable num. Now let's do some comparisons. We can use a pair of square brackets like this and then use hyphen for the comparison operators or options. So let's use EQ for equality. So if I say whatever value is stored in the variable num, using the dollar symbol we are accessing that variable's value. So the value will be replaced here, substituted here, and now we are checking if it is equal to the value mentioned here, which is 100, and we know that it's not true, but let's see what happens. I hit the enter key. Now let's use dollar question mark with the echo command. So as we know, question mark stores the exit status of the last command executed. If the value is 0, then it is successful. Any other number may mean warnings or errors, or simply not successful or failure. So we see that the equality test did not succeed, it failed. Now let's make it 10 here and see what we get now. 0. So it means the equality test has been successful. It simply means the value stored in the variable num is equal to the static value we have mentioned there, or the constant value we have mentioned there. So both the values are equal to each other. ZT, that is greater than. So what we are doing here is we are checking if the value stored in the variable num is greater than the value mentioned here, which is 15. And as we know, this is not true, but let's see. Yes, so it's not successful, so it's not true. Now let's check if it is less than 15. That is true. Sometimes we may just want to know whether two values are equal or not equal, or simply unequal. So this operator means not equal to, or simply put, the value is stored in num, which is 10. So check if 10 is not equal to 15, so which is true. That's it. So we see that the operation was successful. Both the values are not equal to each other. So even if we reverse the order of these values like this, we will still get a true returned. In my previous tutorial, topic number 3 on command line arguments, we discussed how we could make use of the count of command line arguments passed to a shell script. In certain cases, we may want to verify it before we proceed. That's to say, if I am expecting at least 2 values or at most 3 or 4 values or command line arguments, then I can check it in advance within my shell script. And if I get the enough number of arguments or values passed to my shell script, I can proceed, or I can stop and show an error message or a warning or a help menu to the user executing the script. So now let's create a file. Check number of arguments. As a best practice, I prefer to use my shebang at the top of my shell script. Here I am checking how many arguments have been passed to this script. So as I have shown in my previous tutorial, topic number 3, that we can use the system or environment variable hash with the dollar operator or dollar symbol to return that value. I'm just writing and creating. Let's set the executable permission for the script. We got it. Now let's run it. So I see 0 is there because no value was passed to it. Now let's pass 2 values. We see the count is 2 now. I'm clearing the screen. Let's edit the file. And let's perform a test now and see. For example, in this case, we want to see if we are getting 2 values at least and at most, exactly 2 values. So let's use the equal operator and see if we are getting 2 values. So it will return true or false. Now inside shell script, I want to perform 2 actions. First, if the test was successful, then execute action item 1. If the test was not successful, then execute the action item number 2. Here I am using a shorthand for if-else conditions. I am using double ampersand symbols there, which we use when we are expecting a value of true returned. So if the operation is successful or the return value is true, then do this. So simply print a message. We got the two arguments needed to proceed. Thanks. If the returned value is false, then do this. So we are using the pipe symbol typed in twice. So the double pipes we are using for the OR condition. That means if the operation is not successful, then do this. In terms of if else, this is the else part. Let's print this message. Help or error or message, you can say. Error insufficient arguments. Please check the help page. So that is the message we want to print out when we don't get two arguments that we are expecting. I'm saving and quitting. Let's run the script without any value or argument. So we see the echo command has printed out the value 0, which means no value or argument was passed to script, and we see this error message now, which is our customized message, that insufficient arguments. Please check the help page. Whatever message we type there, it is displayed here. Let's open the source file. So this statement echo $hash is giving me the count of the total arguments passed to our script. In the above run of our script, the output is 0. As you know, we didn't pass any value or argument. Now the test operation which we are performing here, that is the condition. The value returned by this $hash, if it is equal to 2, then here the double ampersands mean then. If the condition is true, then do this. So we are printing this message. Or else, if the condition is false, then do this. Again we are printing a different message or an error message. Let's run the program again, this time with only one value. So the count looks okay now, but we are still not getting two values, so we are still getting the error. So this time looks all things are good. We got two values, and now the condition here becomes true. $hash is returning the count of 2, which is equal to 2. If the condition is true, then do this. We are printing this message or a successful message. Let us edit the file again. In case I'm expecting at least one value. Then we can use the less than test operator. Here it means if the value is less than 1, then print this message. Please provide at least one value or argument. Let's save the file and quit and see how this works. So I didn't provide any value. We see the count is 0, and let's open the source file. The condition becomes true because the value is less than 1. That is true, and so we are getting this message printed out over here. Now let's run the same script with some value this time. So we are passing 2 parameters or 2 command line arguments, and we are not getting any message now because only if the value is less than 1, that is no parameter passed to the script when we called it here, then only print this message. In case of a false value, don't do anything. I have not specified any other action. So I am not using the or the else part by specifying 2 pipes. Pretty much simple. Let's clear the screen. Let's edit the file again. This time let's say if the count is equal to 0, then print this message. Let's first print out the source and then run. We don't see any message. Actually, we use less than 1 before here. Which effectively means 0. And in the second example here, we are checking for the equality if the returned value is 0. So effectively both things or both conditions are same things. Now let's run the same command without any parameter, and we see the returned value is 0, so the condition becomes true that no parameter was passed. So print this message, and if we are passing at least one value, then we are not seeing any message. So this is how we can test values against some criteria or conditions. These are frequently used examples. So far we have seen only numbers or numerical values. Now let's see examples of non-numbers or non-numerical values, or simply put, strings. See, on numerical values you can perform calculations, but on strings you cannot perform any action. I'll give you some example here. For example, my variable is called string and I'm giving it a value, let's say hello. Let us print it out first. Yes, the value has been printed out. There is an environment variable user. It returns the login name of the currently logged in user. So you can see here demo, or I can verify using the id command as well. You see the current user is demo, for example. So let's see if the current user is root or not. Let's also use this variable string and compare it with some other message. I'm using these square brackets for testing purpose. We prefer to use double quotes when we are dealing with string values or variables that have strings or non-numeric values, because with the help of double quotes dollar string, for equality we will use the equal symbol or operator, and inside a pair of double quotes or maybe single quotes we can put in a value, for example hi. Here we are checking if the value stored in the variable string is same as the value hi. Let's hit the enter key. See, with the help of dollar question mark, let's print out, and we see it is false. I have shown you that 0 means true when we are checking the exit status of last command. So if it is not 0, then the operation was not successful or not positive. Now let's type hello in there and see it's 0. So the value hello, which is a constant here, is identical to the value stored in the variable string, and echo dollar question mark is returning true or 0. Now let's say if the current user logged in is equal to the user root. No, it's false. Let's see if it works. No, because the operation is case sensitive, so we have to change that letter D to a small case D, perform the test again and see the return value. Now it is true or 0 or successful. This means not equal to, the exclamation mark and the equal symbol. Let's see. It's false because both the values are equal. Let's create a script comparing strings. Let's see if the current user is demo, then print this message. Hello demo. Welcome back. If the condition is not true, then print this message. Hello there. Please exit. That's it. Oops, I misspelled the script name, so I'll quickly use the mv command to rename my script name. Compare strings.sh and run it. So we see an error message, and yes, the error message is integer expression expected. So what we have done is, I have shown you that to compare numerical values we use -aq, but to compare strings we use the equal operator. Now we are all set. Let us do this thing. Copy this script to temp directory, and I will switch to root user, change directory to temp, run the script and see what happens. Hello there, please exit. And that is expected because we are expecting the user to be the demo login, which is not true, and that's why we are getting this message. As you can see here, the condition, if the returned value is equal to demo, then print this greeting, otherwise politely ask the user to exit. So let's exit. In my next video tutorial, I'll show you how to use different conditional operators or methods such as if-else. In this video tutorial, I have shown you a shortcut method, which is almost equivalent to if else paradigm. This is my if part or the conditional part, and this is the true part or then part, and this is the else part. Thank you for watching.